We live? All right, let's get going. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr.
Acting. Welcome to the South Florida Regional Planning Council. Let's get going by doing our ceremonial pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Albritton,
Present.
Kaplan,
Here.
Cates,
Here.
Corradino, Burke,
Here.
Geller,
Here.
Gilbert, Goldberg,
Here.
Lincoln,
Here.
McGee, Rodriguez,
Here.
King. Yes. Davila,
Here.
Wynn,
Here.
Villaboy, Garcia. Will be like your life. Yes, he's on his way. That's it.
Here you have a warrant for an executive committee meeting this morning, which can do public business and take public action. And when the senator arrives, you'll have a full quorum and can proceed accordingly. I will chair until our chair arrives. Should not be too long. We'll get to our
Excuse me, guys. Something on the output here. We can't hear it so well. I don't know if anybody else is having that problem, but it was clear, and then all of a sudden it went very, very quiet.
Can you hear it now? Can you hear me now? Sound check, sound check.
Udine is here if you've taken attendance. Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Kaufman is here also.
Oh, great.
Think that's okay now?
Not a good start.
No, the owl is not red.
How about now?
No, not great from that angle.
But you can hear it. Can you hear us now?
Your side, where you guys are, you and Senator Geller are very clear.
But not on my end.
So we all need to speak up, not on this side. Yeah.
Please.
Can
you hear us now?
Listen, Steve, I could hear you where I'm sitting in my office.
Without the mic, yes, okay.
I thought of a test to have Commissioner Burrs sing "God Bless America," but we'll
I think I'll
pass.
pass it now.
All right. Let's just out of order, a moment, somber moment to express condolences for the family of Dat Quinn, whose wife passed in January. We're thinking of you, sir, and expressing sorrow.
That's great. Very sorry.
We can pick up on our action.
Dad, you went to Coral Park, didn't you?
Yes, I went to Coral Park.
So did I.
Graduated in '87.
Oh, I was 76.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to
So
give
you
thanks
see
to
each
everyone.
other at the reunion.
I have my reunion coming up, and I hesitate to tell you what number it is. We can figure it out.
So many blessings to you and your family, Dad.
Be careful with the photographs.
Yes, only old people.
Do we, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move second.
Any objection? In the absence of an objection, we have minutes approved. The financial report is up next. Leo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the word. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So just for you to know, as a brief, your agency stays financially stable. We have a high level of liquidity aligned with our budget for fiscal year 25-26. The general fund remains strong with assets for $2.6 million. The last month, the assets increased to $133,091. Federal, state, and local funds decreased their assets at $8,811. Revolving loan funds remain being one of our biggest programs with $11,933,419 in assets, total assets. They increased their assets in $10,442 in the last month. The Prosperity Institute also increased its assets in $115, which makes it remain stable. On the second page in the revenue report, we are presenting the financials for the first semester, where 50% of the fiscal year lapsed. Our total collection of funds remains at 70%, so we're in great liquidity shape. And our total expenses are 36%, which means that we're below the expected expenses for this period of the year. If you have any questions,
Sir,
Sure. It's to you and to Isabel. I asked several times over a period of years whether or not we were undertaking projects that we were doing perhaps for cash flow, but that in fact were costing us more than we were making. Now, sometimes, as I said, we should be doing these just to assist our local government. Right. But in general, probably not. And I was told a number of times that we get back that information. Have you ever completed your analysis on that?
of course, we not only have completed analysis, but we have also worked on dashboards that we can share with all the board for you guys to see project by project and all the KPIs. You can have better information on every one of our
In
projects.
general, are we at least breaking even or making a little on our projects, or are we routinely, other than strategic decisions, taking on projects that we lose money on?
I could not mention percentages off the top of my head, but I can.
I don't need, just in general.
Yeah, I can definitely say that in general, we have projects where we're making some cash, and we have other programs where we're just breaking even, just to, stay on the shelves.
Okay, and Isabel, so
We
this
can
is
have a
more-
presentation,
Yeah,
I
but-
think maybe for next council meeting, if you
Okay.
wanna go through everything.
but in general, we are not taking projects that we're losing money on
No.
unless it's a conscious strategic decision in order to make
Correct,
this
like the
group or
regional
that group happy.
conference,
Right.
Senator, through Chair, like the regional conference that we
Right.
do, that's a strategic
Right.
decision because of the different investments that have to
Right.
happen and also the regulations at the counties when you charge or don't charge and sunshine and this, that, and the other thing. And we try to offset that by raising sponsorships, which is
Right.
one of the primary purposes of the Prosperity Institute. But there is no, let's say we don't say, it doesn't matter what it costs us, we're gonna do it. No, that's not the way. We're not in it to lose money, but we are in it to be helpful to our local governments.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
the
Yeah,
brownfields.
thank you.
for
We should
example.
please set up a presentation for Senator Geller because we had talked specifically about the revolving loan fund programs in the past. So we want to make sure that we look at all the programs, including that when we can set up a time.
That might
go
be,
over it.
no, I'm happy
Or
to do
from
that, but
everybody.
maybe it should be a,
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah, we want to assure you that we are holding our highest standards for a fiscal responsibility in our projects. We even dropped the indirect cost rate significantly for the last few years.
Thank you.
Because I know we were always operating a kind of on the
We're in
margin.
flush.
Right, and that's, I just wanted to make sure we weren't taking on a lot of money losing ones.
I know, you saw the arugula and go, hey, we must be flush, right?
Well, the coffee cups are larger than they were.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, council members.
Thank you, Councilman.
Any other questions, comments in Zoomiverse or otherwise?
Zoomiverse.
We're good. Thank you, Leo.
Thanks.
Eager to hear about your Arkansas experience next month.
Oh,
I don't know whether this is
We can
a
talk
sign
about it.
of flush times or not, but the cup is leaking a little bit.
What were you using?
Low bitter, low bitter. No,
So let's
please.
do the complaint rule.
Yeah, let's go through the comp plan amendments. We'll start with the proposed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record, the proposed comp plan amendments, which is a matter of law, you do review and you do provide a forum for the public to speak. Those who came out today to speak for or against any one item have an opportunity to speak at the podium if they're here or on Zoom if they're available. For the record, the proposed are as follows: Broward County 26-02 ESR, Broward County 26-E03 ESR, Town of Davie 26-01 ESR, the City of Hallandale Beach 26-01 ESR, Isla Mirada, the Village of Islands, number being 26-01 ACSC, City of Marathon 26-01 ACSC, City of Miami Beach 26-01 ER, and the City of Miramar 26-01 ER, and last but not least, the City of Pompano Beach proposed amendment 26-01 ESR. Again, for the record, any member of the public who might be physically in the room and has not yet revealed themselves have a right to be heard at the podium, and those who are online and otherwise attended for the purpose of being heard have a right to be, Mr. Chair, as if and when you provide that opportunity on the record.
And that opportunity is right this second.
You know,
Open public hearing. Is anybody interested in speaking to any of these items?
And I speak on all of them.
Okay. Do you have any comments? No. Okay. Anybody? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. I
Mr. Chair,
will entertain a motion.
approval of the proposed consent comprehensive plan.
Thank you, Senator. May I have a second? Any further discussion? All approve? Anybody opposed? Hearing no opposition, all are approved.
and last, if you will, Mr. Chair, would be the adopted comprehensive plans, which have come back to you for review. And also for the members of the public who are here today who would choose to be heard on any one of the items, either in the room or online, have that opportunity either for or against, or any member of any local government with similar view may also be heard through the chair. The adopted are as follows: Broward County 25-04 ESR, Monroe County 25-06 ACSC, the City of Fort Lauderdale 25-03 ESR, Village of Islands, Isla Mirada 25-05 ACSC, the City of Key Colony Beach 25-01 ER with an asterisk. Next number up would be the City of Lauderdale Lakes 25-02 ER, City of Miami Beach 25-04 ESR, the City of Oakland Park 25-02 ESR, the City of Sunrise 25-01 ESR, and apparently last but not least for the record would be the City of Sweetwater in Miami-Dade County 25-01 ESR. Same rules for the road apply to this all applicants here. The right to be heard under the public's commentary. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And thank you, Sam. Open public hearing on these adopted comp plan amendments. Anybody wish to be heard? I will close the public hearing.
Mr. Chair, move approval of the adopted comprehensive plan amendment review.
Thank you, sir. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All opposed? Any opposed? No? In the absence of an opposition, adopted.
A quick question.
Yes,
Sam, when we have a quorum, we need to move to re-adopt them, ratify, or is this sufficient?
Theoretically shall, yes, you should, by one motion, you can do that if you so choose.
Okay, when Senator Garcia.
Because the executive committee has the legal right to take action in public as you have.
Right, just a clarification through the chair. Didn't we all pass, an agreement that if we adopted an executive committee, that it would show as adopted by the full?
I don't recall, but
I
I'm just
think we
saying,
did
if
do
Senator
that.
Garcia is here.
You provided legal advice on the subject, which gave you the prerogative to do that, and without objection from the board, you accepted that approach.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
because we had
created the
lots of
fail-safe.
members online, so.
The fail-safe, I believe, was that if we did not take that action, it would still be authorized action.
However y'all want to do it, but I just seem to recall we did do
We
that.
provided our legal advice on the subject.
Yeah.
The next, and we have just a few moments before our scheduled time slot for presentation. Shall I open public hearing to see if any has anything to say? Any contributions at the podium by means of public hearing?
Any journal?
Any general comments, any business, any observations, questions? Close public hearing. Shall we get to our presentation?
I think so, Chair.
Okay. Mr. DeSazzo is up.
Morning.
Morning, Randy.
All right. So today I'm going to be providing an update of our population picture as it's changed since the year 2000. So about 24 years, taking a look back at how the population and its composition has changed over time. And for those of you who have attended our Silver Tsunami conference, you'll probably know a lot of this already. Please don't spoil it for the others. Go ahead and, I'm sorry?
That was
Oh,
funny.
okay, sorry. Thank you. All right, I worked hard on that one. All right, if we will go ahead and proceed to the next slide. All right. So we're at essentially 5 million residents right now in our 3 counties. That's a 25% increase since 2000. And what I'll be talking about through the rest of this presentation are some of the more notable changes, but you can see that both Broward and Monroe have been increasing at a fairly significant pace. Monroe, for reasons we all understand, has been a lot slower. But there's a lot more to this picture, and I'm going to go ahead and this is just sort of like a brief overview of what I'm going to talk about. We'll go on to the next slide. All right. So here's probably the most important part of this is that our economy is diversifying in no small part because we have international immigration. Our population is growing mostly because we have international immigration. It's not really coming from any other sources. A lot of the domestic migration that we had has actually started to go negative as people find the cost of housing too much here. And so that has rollover effects on our household sizes and many other kinds of patterns that we see emerging in demand for housing and our labor force as well. A lot of that I won't be able to get into here, but to just give you a sense of where that the main driver of population is coming from. So we'll go ahead and I won't dwell on this. We'll just go ahead and move forward. All right. Now, the point that most people can probably already guess once we peek under the hood of what's going on in the region is that we're racing ahead of a lot of other U.S. metros in terms of aging. We're kind of at the bleeding edge of the aging of our population, as you can see in the table here in Broward County, for example. The composition of those who are 65 and older has increased by 17.5%. And I just lost my view of the PowerPoint. There we go. Thank you. All right. So same pattern in our other counties. What you'll see overall is that Broward and Miami-Dade have aged by about 4 to 5 years in terms of the median age in the population. So half of the population is younger. The other half is older than that particular median age. And we're getting closer and closer to 50 in Monroe. And as you can see for Monroe up at the top set of rows that we've gained about 8 years roughly in terms of our median age. And that has a lot to do with very little turnover in the housing stock. We might go ahead and proceed. I'm sorry, one last point about that previous slide, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead, is that the percentage of people who are under the age of 18 continues to drop in all 3 counties. And this is also very significant because it reflects the loss of families and also younger workers who are also leaving the region, mostly because of costs. All right. We'll go ahead and proceed. All right. So what does this mean in terms of housing units? Yes, we've been adding a lot of housing since 2000. According to the statistics I drew from the Census Bureau, Miami-Dade has led the pack with nearly 250,000 units since 2000. That's one of the largest rates of expansion in the entire U.S. Southeast, but it's not quite enough to meet demand. What you'll see here on the average household size panel is that household sizes have been increasing part of that in size. Part of that is due to some additional crowding and some other factors that we see in the housing market, but a lot of that has to do with there still being insufficient stock available for especially younger families to move in. So you'll see a lot of doubling up, especially in Miami and I think Monroe as well. Go ahead and proceed. All right, so this is another area where we've seen some change. If you live in Monroe County, you're seeing the median income go up by quite a bit, but has more to do with wealth that comes into the county rather than being generated inside the county. The other two larger counties have actually stagnated more or less since 2000 when you take the real dollar, the 2024 real dollar into account. So even though wages have risen over the past 24 years, once you take into account inflation, the overall cost of the basket of goods we have to spend our money on, it's not seen a dramatic improvement since 2010, or rather 2000 if you're in Broward. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on from there. And those are the main points I wanted to raise about what we've seen differently in the census and how things have changed the last 24 years. And if you've got questions, happy to take them.
Thank you for that summary. Senator Geller.
Hi, Greg. Randy, two issues. Number one, in reference to the population growth, the income housing or the housing, I think Senator Garcia is here. Okay. The first question is, there was an article that I read recently. I want to say it was Wall Street Journal, but I'm not sure where it was, that was talking about why we're getting older. One of the main reasons we're getting older is that younger people are leaving, but more you have very affluent people moving in, and the very affluent ones tend to be older. That's why, they've accumulated a lot of money. And so what you have is both getting older, but also getting more affluent. And if you do a computer search, you'll find, there have been more than one article on that it's the people that are coming in are basically older, more affluent, and displacing the younger people that are moving out because they can't afford it. So you might want to find that. And there is a relationship between the two, according to multiple.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
okay. Go ahead. Sorry. No, the only other point I was going to make is that the baby boomers still maintain a really outsized share of the overall wealth of the country. People who are starting out are having a much harder time, buying houses, developing that overall set of sources of wealth and assets. But yeah, please do continue.
And then the one other issue is your number on household size varies greatly from, Ralph Stone, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, the Affordable Broward. He has told us that the average housing size in Broward is 2.1 people per household. Your number is 2.65, which is a very substantial difference. So I would just ask you to contact Mr. Stone and compare your sources and, see which is more accurate, because there's just a very big difference between 2.1 and 2.65.
Yeah, I'll definitely contact him. The numbers I have are from the Census Reporter, which generates information drawn from the American Community Survey, which is a survey, of course. But if Ralph has more accurate information, I'm happy to incorporate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Our chair is with us.
Chair Kaplan, I think Chair Kaplan did a great job.
It's like riding a bike.
Thank you so much.
Should we ratify the actions that we took on the comp plan and then just?
If you like, do we have to read them all over again?
Yeah, sure, move that the full FFRPC ratify the actions taken by the executive committee.
Your motion for
on
the republication of what we've done
comp
to the
plan
record.
amendments.
You're republishing those in the record, thank you.
Second?
Second. Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion adopted. We are now moving on to, right on time, actually, a little ahead of schedule, Isabel.
Yes, so I'm happy to welcome Mr. Coughlin from Florida Power and Light with us. He is the manager working on power delivery, grid transformation integration for FPNL. I believe we have a couple of friends here from FPNL, including Julia Woolhat, and I think maybe Mr. Borland is with FPNL as well. And he's gonna be updating us on he's gonna just giving us basic information about a proposed Andytown Oasis transmission line project in Broward and Miami-Dade County. It's currently being considered at the PSC. Legal counsel Sam Gorin and his colleagues have been keeping an eye on all of this for us moving forward. So Mr. Coughlin is here to give us basic information. And has offered, like, in the future, if the board decides it would like additional information, we could certainly have other folks from FPNL come and speak to us in the future. So Mr. Coughlin sent me this very lengthy bio of 2 sentences.
That's how it should be.
Because he's a hard worker, so he doesn't have time to do an I love me bio. So he graduated from the University of Florida with a bachelor's in civil engineering and has been with Florida Power and Light for 19 years. Quick,
Perfect.
expedient. Yeah.
Welcome, Mr. Coughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Coughlin.
Hey, good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll be talking about the Andytown Oasis project. I'm going to give a quick project overview. We'll talk a little bit about the history and then the project schedule, and then we can open up for questions. So from a project overview perspective, FPL is proposing a transmission corridor from the existing Andytown substation in Broward County to the new Oasis substation located in Miami-Dade County. The corridor will also connect to the existing Corey and Levy substations, which is kind of like a midpoint between the two. The Andytown Oasis project meets the projected load growth in Miami-Dade County. Reliability improvements required by 2033 to add capacity and increase power transfer. So as part of the project, we'll be building 4 new transmission lines. We've got 2 500 kV lines, one from Andytown to Oasis and one from Oasis to Corey. And then we have 2 230 kV lines, one from Oasis to Corey and one from Oasis to Levy. FPL is seeking certification via the state's Transmission Line Siting Act. So now I'm going to kind of fast forward to a little bit about the history, and then I'll come back to the preliminary preferred corridor. So history of the Western Consensus Corridor. So a significant portion of the corridor identified as our preliminary preferred corridor utilizes the land approved as the Western Consensus Corridor for Turkey Point's units 6 and 7 certification. In the 1960s and 70s, FPL acquired a linear strip of land for future use. In 1989, Everglades National Park boundary was expanded to the east, encompassing FPL's property interests. So in the mid-2000s, FPL began negotiating with DOI, South Florida Water Management District, the Corps, and TIF for an exchange of lands. FPL would give its land to Everglades National Park and receive a strip of land on the new eastern edge of the park. In 2009, FPL filed for Turkey Point's Unit 6 and 7 PPSA, so that's a Power Plant Siting Act certification. The filing included the development of 2 new nuclear generators at Turkey Point, along with associated transmission lines. The western corridors proposed for the certification included FPL's exchange lands. So just to continue with the history, fast forward from the 2000s to 2014, and after significant negotiations over a number of proposed corridors, the initial final order approving the project certified the Western Consensus Corridor. So if you look to the map on the right, the Western Consensus Corridor in this map is highlighted in blue. And you can see the preliminary preferred corridor kind of outlined in red, essentially following the Western Consensus Corridor alignment. In 2016, Everglades National Park and FPL finalized the land exchange. And then in 2020, after several appeals, the order became final. So the preliminary preferred corridor portion that is located between Oasis and Levy and Quarry is materially the same as the previously approved Western Consensus Corridor. So with that, I'm going to go back up to the preliminary preferred corridor. You can see the 2 maps on the right. The left map kind of shows more of the northern portion of the project, whereas the right map shows more of the southern. So basically the study area, which is outlined in red, that's the area where we looked to route these facilities. And the area in blue is what we're referring to as the preliminary preferred corridor. You can see the county boundary on the left map, which is just south of Andytown substation. And the little green squares are either existing or proposed substations. Existing stations are Andytown, Quarry, Levy, and the planned substation is down at the bottom on the right map. That's Oasis. So a study area was identified within which various corridors were analyzed. This analysis considers environmental features, linear features, schools, current FPL-owned rights-of-way, buildings, and the results of this analysis identified the preliminary preferred corridor. Again, that's in blue on the right. The northern portion of the preliminary preferred corridor is co-located with an existing Levy Midway 500 kV line, also known as the Sugar Quarry line. The southern portion, as I mentioned previous, southern portion of the preliminary preferred corridor utilizes part of the previously certified Western Consensus Corridor, which was a significant factor in the analysis. So this map here kind of shows the northern portion in a little bit more detail, where the line in yellow is the existing line that's there today. The Levy Midway line, or also known as Sugar to Quarry. And you can see the line in red, which outlines the preliminary preferred corridor, is we're looking to co-locate our new facility in this area with an existing facility that's there today. Now I'm going to go through the project schedule. So from a public outreach perspective, we've held open houses back in March of this year in Broward and Miami-Dade, and we reviewed the preliminary preferred corridor with all the guests. The TLSA application, we're planning to file that later this month. As Isabel mentioned, the need determination, that is a separate process within a separate group within FPL, but that determination has been filed with the Public Service Commission. Currently, from current time to 2028, we're going to be focused on the design and permitting aspects of this project. with plans to start construction in January of 29. So the last slide that I'd like to show in the appendix here is some typical pictures of what these structures would look like. The picture on the left depicts two 500 kV structures side by side. And the picture on the right is a picture of a 230 kV structure along a road right of way. So with that, that kind of concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Good job. Thank you for your presentation. We have Councilman, Senator, oh, sorry, I'm just doing two things at the same time. Senator Geller to ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
Any opposition to this? I can only speak for the Broward side, but you're going on an existing place where you already have power lines. I haven't heard of any opposition at all, at least here in Broward. If there is, nobody has approached me about it. Is there any opposition to this, organized opposition from anyone that you're familiar with? Because I haven't heard of it.
So, yeah, we've been working with all the major stakeholders. I'll list a few: Broward County, Miami-Dade County, South Florida Water Management District, Everglades National Park, Southwest Ranches. So those are a few of the major stakeholders, DOI as well. And we've also been working with the outreach meetings the open house meetings that we had with the general public. And we're just right now educating, all the local folks and major stakeholders on the project.
So was that a yes or no?
No, not to our knowledge right now. We're working through the process with the stakeholders and the public.
Thank you.
And we haven't filed yet, right? So this is just a preliminary outreach that we do prior to filing with the DEP.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you. Is there any other questions from the council members?
I
do have a question. Listen, Isabel, I just want to thank you and the team for putting this preliminary memo before us on our views of the line. So I appreciate that you all are having the conversations already with all the interested parties, especially the fact that this is the beginning of Earth Week. It's important to recognize that we do live in a vibrant community, especially when we have the Everglades to the west and the Bay to the east. We're all stuck between there and trying to figure out a way that we can continue to live and provide the power resources that we need for our community is extremely important for Miami-Dade and Broward, and also for Monroe County. We're all in this together. How much we want to say how different we are, but we are pretty much in this all together. This is why I appreciate the council's work. Now, what are the environmental concerns that you see, or do you see having any environmental concerns moving forward? I know you're working with, like I said earlier, with South Florida Water Management and the Everglades. What are the potential environmental risk, if any, that you can talk about?
Yeah, so as part of the selection of the final route, we'll perform assessments on the environmental and cultural resources, right? So we'll hire a qualified environmental consultant to perform those assessments. So at this stage, we're pre-filing. We haven't filed yet. So we did a alternatives analysis on all the corridors within the study area. And we did a qualitative and quantitative analysis of each of those segments, which ultimately landed us on the preliminary preferred corridor, as I discussed earlier.
Okay. All right, Isabel?
Yes, thank you, Chair. And thank you, Mr. Coughlin. As Mr. Coughlin alluded to in the beginning, there are different FP&L that have different levels of information, types of information. So Mr. Coughlin was generous to come and give us an overview of this, but this is perhaps the first conversation, I don't know. But if the board wanted to have additional information as the process moves forward, there's other experts, and so we could bring the memo that the agenda item that the chair was alluding to is later on in the agenda. It's agenda item 4B. It's an information only item and we'll get to it. But this is an analysis and a preliminary analysis put together by staff. I will say that, and then maybe, I don't know what the right time is, but I will say that since the regional councils get notified with the electrical siting act, we received notice when this went into the Public Service Commission process, and legal counsel and his colleagues have been following that process, maintaining the rights of the board. As part of outreach, I did reach out to, because we, as a regional agency, we were trying to get sort of like a regional feel if people had comments, concerns, if they were aware. So I reached out to Miami-Dade County, Broward County, South Florida Water Management District, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. We didn't really hear anything back directly from Miami-Dade, but based on what we heard from the others, they were pretty much aware, have been having some conversations, and would engage more in the regulatory processes and move forward. I don't know, I think.
I do.
Did you want to say something, Sam?
When the
Sure,
chair,
that chair. I believe.
please, Mr. Chair, Senator, just a couple of observations. There is a pending matter before the Public Service Commission. There's a docketed petition on behalf of FP&L to cite this particular power line system. The parties, and Craig was very careful to explain that to you, there are statutory parties that have been notified. The Florida Department of Commerce, Division of Community Development, Florida Department of Environmental Protection, Miami-Dade, Broward County, the Water Management District, the Regional Planning Council, and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. There are several legal tables in the room. There's a dining room table and one is the kitchen table. We're currently at the kitchen table.
We're the babies.
Okay, not the child's table, but the kitchen table. Explain that in an analogous way, just to be clear about it. We filed, because there was no meeting of the council, we filed a notice of appearance on behalf of the council to be able to preserve whatever rights you might have under the state statute to be able to be heard at some future moment. We are an affected party. We're not a party such as an intervening party, we're an affected party. To become an intervening party, which is at the dining room table, you have to file a petition with the administrative law judge and get admitted to the case to actually provide evidence and testimony. We have bookmarked this council's right thus far to be able to be heard, as very aptly put by Isabel this morning, and correctly so by FP&L as well. There is an opposing party in the process already. That party is the Environmental Defense Fund. We don't represent them. They're not in this room. They have not raised anything with us directly. They've raised concerns about the siting, the location, environmental issues, and financial matters that are beyond the scope of this discussion this morning. However, we don't recommend to you to become an intervening party, because to do so does a couple of things. It kind of moves you from the kitchen table to the dining room table, and it also opens up your wallet to some degree, because you got to spend legal time and staff time to get to an answer which may not be the answer that you want to hear or need to hear. There are other highly qualified governmental agencies involved in this discussion, specifically Miami-Dade and Broward, who have yet to raise objections or to intervene any further, or if at all, to have their issues, if there are any, to be heard. That's the 25 words or less commentary. Just want to make sure you know that Isabel did exactly what she needed to do. We did what we had to do on your behalf. We're in the same household. We're at the kitchen table. We're not at the dining room table where the main players are having their discussion. But if, as and when, as this project and its application proceeds further, and there is an opportunity, we would not choose to subjugate your rights to be heard at the dining room table, should that ever occur, legally and otherwise. But right now, staff does not have anything that they can present to you of any consequence that would change your approach or our approach legally. And we would appreciate being able to stay in the process, but not to have a heavy hand on the accelerator pedal, so to speak, with regard to any time or expense to be able to get to the next level.
And I appreciate that update, because I think it's important for us to always keep our the ability to join at any time if we do see fit. But I think right now, based on Senator Geller and what's happening in Broward and Dade counties, of right now, I think we'll be fine. I think it's the right move not to join, not to do anything right now. I'm okay with being at the kitchen table, or what with the kitchen table, which
kitchen,
which I'm in the kitchen,
where the dining room table has got more formal.
Yeah, it's a little formal. We'll do the kitchen table. I'm fine with being there right now, and then if the opportunity presents itself, then we'll come back to the board and take a motion.
Sitting at the island is okay.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Thanks. I noticed, you didn't mention the Department of Transportation, and probably for good reason. Because I think the pathway's far enough west away from US 27. And I say that because this group has been very instrumental in trying to advocate for a US 27 railroad path that goes all the way, goes. I don't think that there's conflict here, but I'm looking at the map. But I guess I'd like to ask Mr. Coughlin if there's any issue. I don't know how far away this is from US 27. I've seen the big power lines over there. I assume you're going right next to them. And that's pretty far out there. So it probably wouldn't be a problem, but am I right in that?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and just to add to that, yeah, that's correct. Just to add, we're also in discussions with DOT. I don't think I mentioned them, GMX and CSX, right? From a railroad perspective, CSX from a railroad, DOT, for crossings of DOT roads, and GMX for their future plans that they have down in this area. So, but yeah, they are further west of 27. I could give you a mileage if you want. And remember, it's a corridor that we're certifying. The route physically within the corridor has not been established yet.
Okay, there's a right of way already right now of DOT, and I'm just assuming they're not overlapping. And who's GMX?
Yeah, correct.
Who is GMX?
Greater Miami, Florida Expressway.
They took MDX, they became something.
GMX.
System, there it is.
And
Yes, sir.
And I was gonna say, Sam, is the EDF complaining about the Dade portion? Because if there is any concern, maybe in Dade, Broward, they're just using the existing route. I don't think anybody's gonna object to that. Dade, they're creating a new route. So if there is any objection, I would imagine it would be in Dade and not in Broward. And by the way, Andy County just looked up, hasn't existed since 1979. It was a restaurant, a gas station, a trailer, and a motel, and it was wiped out when they built I-75. So I don't know why everybody still talks about it.
We should put a song on it. Sam, if you will, the EDF had to actually pre-file certain information as we did with regard to the pending proceeding before PSC. They've listed thus far 2 witnesses, David Cranston, and this is what his subject matter testimony might be about. Appropriate principles for utilities and regulatory commissions applicable to planning and investment decisions for transmission and related power supply projects, consistency with the Andytown project with federal policies and requirements, alternatives to the Andytown project that should be considered. The other speaker that they've called thus far as a potential witness, a guy named Ted Thomas, would testify as follows: appropriate principles for utilities and regulatory commissions applicable, very similar to what the other gentleman's going to speak to theoretically. Alternatives to Andytown project, inadequate time allowed for parties to address the Andytown project, FP&L's transmission planning, Andytown project fails to serve the public interest. That's their conversation. That's not the council's conversation. That's their discussion point. It reserves their bookmark to receive as a party at the dining table.
I think we're good. I think we have all any other comments to come before us?
And we have the opportunity.
If I could, I would just like to read the little comment from Nico, co-chair of Florida Wildlife Conservation Commission. It says, to the previous question, FWC will be reviewing this project for potential impacts to listed species and habitats when it comes in for the Siting Act certification.
Perfect. Thank you for putting that on the record.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, guys, I just want to thank you all for this great presentation. Let's move on to, let's follow the agenda now. We are now on action items.
We did this.
We did,
Yeah.
action items. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on fire.
Right. Like fire. So we're on program reports.
Okay, program reports, here we go.
So this will be fast. So should we do it?
What?
Okay, so we were gonna, just a quick update on agenda item 4A. It's the SFRPC Brownfields Cleanup Revolving Loan Fund. And it's just to let you know that pursuant to a request, we have a Brownfields program, very successful cleanup revolving loan fund. And periodically we look to find new people that we can work with. So we had a request for qualifications. So On March 20th, 26th, we included our request for qualifications for environmental planning and brownfield services. We identified consultant companies that can work with us to assist in securing and implementing contracts from multiple sources. The last time we had done that was 4 years ago, so we updated it. We had 8 submissions and they were reviewed, and all 8 firms were determined to be qualified, responsive, and suitable for future project assignments. These firms are Aptum, Environmental Infrastructure, Geosyntec, Langen, Berzaga, Resource Environmental Solutions, SES Engineers, Stantec, Terracon Consultants, Inc., and WSPUSA. So it just means that we are building additional resiliency in the program by having multiple companies that are qualified that we can work with as projects come up, and then we rotate through them. So if there's any question, I have staff that could answer.
Any other questions? Seeing none, let's move forward. Let's go ahead, Isabel.
So on agenda 4B, I think this was prepared by Christina Miska. She did a great job. This is on proposed Andy-Turner Oasis Transmission Lines Project. This is a staff analysis where we took a preliminary view of the proposed project and compared it to our strategic regional policy plan. So I just pointed for time. I'm just going to refer you to it, and I would read the very quick. It's excellent maps produced by staff information for you. And the summary is the Anti-Town Oasis Transmission Line Project demonstrates general consistency with 3 SRPP policies through its corridor-based sited strategy, ongoing environmental evaluation process, and coordinated regional review framework. So continued adherence to the principles SRPP, particularly to avoid impacts to natural resources of regional significance, maintenance of ecological connectivity, and implementation of regionally meaningful mitigation will be critical as the project moves forward, and we will continue to coordinate with our member units of local government, DEP, Water Management District, and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. You posted, I'd like to thank Christina and Marion Knowles for their great work on this agenda item. It was a review.
Do you need a motion on that?
Nope, information only. We can get all informed.
Do you want to do these, we have the opportunity zones, and we have this as well.
Well, let's do, if we could, opportunity zones, and I'm going to invite Miss Marion Knowles, Regional Planner for Treasure Resilience, to come up for a brief update on this. You'll recall for those members who attended the joint council meeting that we discussed a little bit about the opportunity zones, but this is going to provide, I think, important information for those board members that were unable to attend. It is also more specific to our region as opposed to the Southern County region. Ms. Knowles.
Good morning. Thank you all for your time. This is just a very short overview. So the Opportunity Zones 2.0 is part of this Tax Credit and Jobs Act of 2017. They're revamping the rules based on the previous requirements, which means that there is a new set of census tracts that are eligible for greater economic development opportunities. So this happens once every decade. Governors nominate 1/4 of low-income census tracts to become opportunity zones. And with the opportunity zone designation, organizations and companies within those areas receive special tax benefits to help start up new companies, organizations, and promote opportunity. So the current Opportunity Zone 2.0 will phase out Opportunity Zones 1.0 in 2028. And the specific eligibility criteria includes a 20% poverty rate and 70% of the area median income for 2.0. I have some maps of the eligible areas. By our counties, there are 349 total census tracts that are eligible, and that's a total population of 1.4 million people in our region.
This slide's supposed to be moving.
Yeah, there's 3 maps. Could be.
Thought so. Dade,
So Miami-Dade has a total of 245 eligible tracts, which is the most throughout the area. It encompasses around 900,000 individuals within Miami-Dade, followed by Broward County with 400,000 individuals within the census tracts, and then Monroe County with 4, primarily in Key West and then Isla Morada. That is just our general overview. Nominations are due by May 1st, and then the governor will decide which areas they would like to submit to the federal government. By municipal areas, the city of Miami, Hialeah, Hollywood, and Fort Lauderdale have the highest number of opportunity census tracts eligible. We did receive a request for letter of support from the city of Hollywood. So if you do not know which communities are already working on this, I would encourage you to reach out to your city managers, your planners, so that your constituents are potentially considered for this good economic development opportunity. Yeah,
Sorry. For them to apply, do they just have to write a letter of support? Yeah, I agree. The census zone should be considered. Is that really?
Yeah, it's interesting. What's the process? It's the process right there.
It's very informal. It's basically like a Google form that Florida Commerce has put up on their website. It asks you what's the median income, where is this located, what's the population, and then you can submit supplemental materials such as letters of support and reasons why you would like to nominate this opportunity zone. I briefly looked over the survey. It's maybe 10 or 15 questions.
It's in a municipality. Sorry, are you done? Councilman, are you done?
Yeah, I would like to get like a close up of the map if there's possible.
Do you have?
So, yeah, because I think, I mean, I'm glad Hollywood is, but looking at this, it looks like there's a lot of other ones.
Well,
West Park, Criminal Park, all those, at least in the district I represent, that would probably be interested. What do you say?
well, Maribel Feliciano in Broward County in your economic development, they're working on this as well.
But it sounds like only one city is applying.
Well, we received a letter of request for a letter of support from the city of Hollywood, but that doesn't mean that other cities are not applying or doing. In other words, they want the extra step to ask us to write a letter of support
Okay,
for their proposed designation.
sounds like has to be a quick.
So they'll win.
Yeah, exactly. But it does sound like it has to be a quick turnaround. You only got a week.
May 1st is the deadline.
Or a week.
Question, is there a website that we can look at that we can zoom in on? Because it's always-
Yes. So the federal government produced an interactive map. We can send you the link. It's linked in this memorandum, but when it's printed out via PDF, it's not, you can't click on it. But if you go on the online agenda, you should be able to click a link that says interactive map, and it'll give you how many people are
Can you send
located.
it to all of us?
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
That map will tell you how many people are located in that area, what the poverty rate, the median family income, number of housing units, that stuff. And I would recommend working with your planners to overlay what the current land use is. If it's an existing census tract with, high levels of commercial or an industrial sites, that may be very attractive to potential companies looking to relocate.
Thank you. And you work for us then?
I do.
Are you new?
No, I've been here for almost 2 years. I stay very quiet.
Thank you.
That's great work.
So the process is this is an form application, any elected official in that area, or does it have to go to the municipality?
No, anyone can submit.
Perfect.
So, we're not submitting though.
For selfish
Don't
reasons, I'm asking.
Right.
Well, we're not, for the local governments are submitting. It's a different process than it was 10 years ago. We were much more active in getting the information and doing proposals, but again, 10 years later, they've changed it up, how they do it. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. That was great.
And we'll follow up right after the meeting.
With that, we're having the an update on the joint meeting. By the way, it was an amazing meeting. It's really also the joint council meeting was great to collaborate with everyone on the East Coast. And particularly when we talk about transportation issues and the new mode of transportation, which is a little scary.
Not terrifying.
But yes, the terrifying. I'm not gonna, okay.
But you crash it, ground is one thing, you crash
crash
in
up
the air.
And then fall on the ground cars.
It's a while away, but I'm glad I don't think I'm gonna be around to see all that. But
Yeah,
anyway,
our friend
still,
Vicky.
still a little scary. But anyway, as well, you want to give us an update?
Yes, well, thank you, Chair. I would just, I know I speak for the chair as well, and I just want to really give an appreciation to the chair, Senator, oh my gosh, my brain is going to.
I got stuck.
Senator Geller, thank you very much. Council member Frank Kaplan, City of Pembroke Pines Commissioner Maria Rodriguez, and Southwest Ranches Council member Jim Albritton, who braved long treacherous driving conditions to arrive early in West Palm Beach for this meeting. And if anyone who's driving South Florida cross county these days knows that it's not a fun trip.
However, I will say, taking the
Bright line.
I hate to give a plug to a private company, right?
But it's okay.
But the Bright Line was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I took it from Aventura to Palm Beach, and it was a pretty good ride. Got work done, and just it was pleasant. So
Kathy, can you play by any chance the news article, the recording for WPBF on the link?
It's on the website. I
I
don't know what.
What are we talking
did
about
with
here?
that.
Well, anyway, there was a video, TV show. This agenda item has now been updated with all the live links. And it's also on our website, so you'll be able to see the great presentations that were there. But it came out on YouTube, and there was an article. I should have thought of it earlier, but I have it queued up to play. Leo, you can actually it on YouTube. So it was a great meeting, great turnout from the treasure codes. They have a different membership model. That's something that we had talked about, remember, during the nominating committee process that we wanted to revisit in the future. So the way they do their board, they have their main board member, but they also have alternates. So they're always bringing in new elected officials into the conversation and building the thing. So I think with Chair that we would want to consider, perhaps I could just work with you directly and to create a membership committee to start exploring some different ways of increasing participation and building the future leaders of the regional council. So I think that would be easy to do.
I think I heard Senator Geller moving that.
Yeah, I move what she just said.
Okay, right, so I can work with you, Chair. Yeah, so you can create a committee and we can do a little bit of research and bring to you the different models used.
I think it's important. I think it's important that we do have to have more people. I think involved in the council, and the alternates is a great way to go, because usually the alternates are the ones that are more excited than the actual members themselves. So, to be more involved, because there's a handful of us that always want to be here and do our things.
It's gonna prime up.
But that'll push people up there. So can we look at I think it's the other's motion was to look at the alternate member selection process for the council itself, and then bring it back to the board and we can vote on it. I don't think we need a committee.
I think
Let's put something together.
if I could, Chair,
Yes.
forgive me, is that I know that in the nominating committee in January, the nominating committee members, which included Senator Geller, Councilmember Kaplan, Councilmember Halbert, and also Commissioner, now Mayor, Ben Chair Lincoln, we had talked about creating maybe like a membership committee to just go over the different aspects of the council, but really focusing on how do we expand membership. So we can discuss it afterwards. I think you, obviously as chair, can just say, okay, I picked you for it. And then we can go forward. And we, in the meantime, as staff, can review some materials, get some information, maybe at the May meeting, if you want. I don't know if there's a fire drill, but I really would like to get that going. And I really actually want to hear the members talking more about their experience at the meeting, but it was very well attended. And we received presentations on biosolids and changes in legislation in biosolids, obviously the region. These are all issues that are cross-cutting through the 7-county region. And we also heard from Paul Owens on legislation and really about the data centers. Council staff produced for you a regional map of the data centers and also some background information. And I think that might be an area where the chair and the members might want to have additional conversation about data centers Cause it seems you're gonna be seeing them more and more coming up. Also about blue ribbon communities, that was very large scale development proposal that will be impacted Treasure Coast, I think. Unless they're outside the urban development boundary here. We received the information about the Florida Coral Reef and the future of air mobility in Florida. So apparently a lot of people are gung ho about having flying cars over the highways. Which I can't say I am personally, but I'm old. Opportunity zones, we just heard a little update on that. And I understand the air mobility also is something that Monroe County's been very interested in because of distance. And also because they do have some critical needs about being able to bring people in and out quickly. So I certainly understand there's different sides to this issue. And then, of course, one of our highlights was an update by Ron Book of the legislative session. More to come. It wasn't a highlight. Okay, great, another presentation. That was another presentation was a.
He's a friend, by the way.
Yeah, he is. So anyway, I guess we're going to be seeing a lot more since session may not end until next year.
Yes. I'll tell you.
So why don't you all jump in?
No, it is a weird site. I think for us that have been around for quite some time in the legislature, you've seen it all, and this time we have seen it all. I've never seen anything like it. Doesn't matter if Republicans or Democrats are in control. It's just something it's crazy to think that we are here now, but it is what it is.
Is their fiscal year end?
June 30th.
30th.
And when do you think we're gonna have a budget?
June 30th.
I hope so. July or August.
I hope so. They may have to do a continuation. Well, we've never had. Well, I don't think we've had continuation budgets here. I don't know. I don't even know how that even works.
Okay.
And we were up there, but I do want to bring something up. The issue of data centers. We keep on talking about this until I'm blue in the face. I appreciate the conversation that we did have. And for all of us, obviously we're talking about.
There is a recording.
I did mention about Earth Week, right? But for all of us that live down here to the Everglades and the Bay, we just had a conversation about the power needs that we need in our community. Just think about these data centers, how great they may be. They not only need power, they need water. This is something we don't talk a lot about. And water is not an infinite resource. So we need to be very careful on how we attack this issue at the local level, both at the local and the state. Yes, I understand with water, you can recapture some of this water, but still there is a lot of consumption of water is going to be taken out of the earth and the resources for us. So I just want this council, we can be mindful of what happens at both at the state and federal level as it relates to the water consumption needs of these big mega data centers. So I just want to put that out there. Nothing. Senator.
Well, of course, if we do anything like that, the state will simply come along and preempt us like they do and everything else. But
Senator Levy likes helping though.
Yeah.
beyond that, I just want to say, I think Treasure Coast did a fine job, but candidly, we do much better job at hosting these joint meetings than they do. Just wanted to comment on that. Good job.
As a chair to another chair would be quiet, but all right, good job. Thank
I
you.
thought they did a fine job, Senator.
Okay,
They did a fine job.
you do a better job.
Senator Geller always do a much better job. I know that for sure.
He's very proud of his own children.
No, yes, I appreciate those compliments. Anything else, members,
So
before we move on?
So we have a revolving loan fund report updates, but they're very complete in your package. I know there's not a whole bunch of time. But that's up to you if y'all want to go ahead with that update. And we also have legal counsel report. I don't have a lot to report, except that I would appreciate direction and conversations you want to have. I think the data center one.
Sam, can you give us a quick update on the revolving loans fund? Is it you, Sam? Can you do
Yeah, and we also have our loan officer, Jeff Tart here. He can give, you want to give a quick
Yes, Jeff.
5-minute update?
Sure.
Okay.
Basically, I just wanted to let you know what you.
July, yes, or BC date.
We will,
Okay.
we'll do that after, so.
Go ahead.
Sure, we launched a revolving loan fund borrower profile series to highlight borrowers who successfully utilized CARES Act funding to expand businesses, hired personnel and had a direct impact on our local communities. This month, we're profiling Francois LeConte Fidel Media and Technology Group on growing his WDFL TV Channel 18 as an ABC Miami affiliate, which has been included in your board packages.
Okay.
In regards to the CARES Act RLF fund, we closed 39 loans since inception. That's 9.6 million. Created and saved over 350 jobs. We do have over $660,000 available to lend to new borrowers. And we're in the process of underwriting 2 new loans, $100,000 loan request to Zamata Coffee Traders in Tamarack. The city's existing minority owned business for coffee roasting retail expansion, and $100,000 loan request to Compass Law, Florida, personal injury and estate planning firm expanding in Fort Lauderdale. And a traditional RLF, we have 5.2 million lent to 29 businesses, and we have over $1 million available to lend to new borrowers.
So through the chair, so just
I
for the,
appreciate it. Thank you.
so for the board to understand, Mr. Chart's job is to find people that are qualified for us to give them loans to. These are typically small business, they're businesses that are not able to obtain conventional financing, because we do not compete with banks. So his job is to identify potential clients, and then we have a revolving loan fund board that Councilmember Goldberg is a member of, also Councilmember Kaufman, plus members of different or Palm Beach Legal Services, we have bankers and such. It's the board's job then to look at the proposals that Jeff brings to see if it's aligned with the direction the board wants to go. All this is to say is that we are always interested in welcoming, to the extent that you have constituents that need financing and they're not able to get financing at a reasonable rate, or they just been flat out turned down. We always are interested in helping entrepreneurs. We, in fact, one of our big companies is down my board. We have 2, and we have 2 funds. So,
All right, that's good.
yeah, so it's
I
just.
appreciate, I just wanted
That's a
to,
thing.
let's get on the record. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so now we are, Isabel, where are we going?
I think executive director's report, I've already mentioned the membership committee that I'd like to work on with you all on. And I will just say that, don't think I have a lot of updates, but I do want to pivot so that before you leave, Chair Garcia, we can sit down and identify a date for the annual conference for the SFRPC, because the date that your staff was so helpful in helping me find also does not work for Senator Geller, who's got.
Mr. Chair, what I was just saying, and I think it's important we discuss this while everybody is still here. I know Broward County Commission is on vacation from basically July 1 to August 15th.
And then y'all go.
And you're on vacation during the month of August. I also know that while we're on school break, which I think is
Like 2 weeks of August, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of families go on vacation. So I just think if you're gonna have anything, we never had that I'm aware of a conference in the middle of summer, July or August. I just don't think that you'll get the attendance at that, because so many people, I mean, unless we do it in the North Carolina mountains, we have so many.
Field trip.
Yeah, we have so many people that are on, particularly the higher level people that we would want as speakers or sometimes attendees. I just think that if you meet in, July or the first couple of weeks of August.
July and August are tough months.
Yeah, so I think it's gotta be June or September or something. I just don't think you can meet in July or maybe the end of August, but after school resumes. But then you're on the Dade County Commission.
I think September will work. I mean,
Or
Through the
we still do it in June.
Well, what I would like to consider, Senator Geller, you've always been so helpful also in understanding these and helping me think about these things, and is that I would like to just make sure everybody understands. Our Blue Tech Conference, the 7-county conference, is October 30th, 30. We're gonna be sending an updated agenda that shows that. And, September, October, November, well, it could be, we did our last one, I think, in September, but September is busy, so. if
No, it's
we
gonna
could
push,
work
it's
with
gonna push it close to October 30th, but it's.
There could be a conversation with the October 30th if we're doing workforce something,
I
really.
don't think so. Could we still fit it in sometime in June? And if not, can we do it in early September?
Well, I think that, and I'm not trying to be, I do whatever y'all tell me to do, I work for you. I think June was challenging for Senator Garcia, and then there's Florida Association of Counties, which we will be at
That's the last week of
with
June. Yeah.
Lincoln. But I did think that the schedule was complicated. I know that June 4th was not good. I think you had Nanleo or something coming up. So we can certainly keep trying to find a date in June. And if not, we'll have to look.
Would you have time to put this together for June?
Well, okay, so this is an excellent question. So I don't think you remember our last regional conference that we had that was on, I don't know if it was the last one, but the one we did on mental health and housing, that was like a 5-hour program. So I'm wondering, we are short on time. Would it be possible to just work on a focused conversation on an important topic that would take no more than 3 hours? So we're not doing 5 or 6 panels, things like that.
I think
Council members, are you guys?
What is the
Thoughts?
topic?
Can I help out?
I think we landed on.
I don't think we landed on a topic either. Yeah.
We went back and forth
I'm
on
just
different.
projecting. I'm gonna be in Europe in first 2 weeks of June.
Right.
And I'm stuck with that.
That's.
And we can all go to.
Can I get stuck over there too?
No, let's do this. I think June is gonna be, we're gonna push it, it's gonna be tight to push it to June. I'm gonna volunteer Ida to help you with this for September. So you can
Don't
have,
pop up until I ask you.
so you can have Ida to help you.
So.
Yeah, but we have a budget.
So I would like to invite Aralda Goli, who has
Is
been
Marty
working a bit on the
someone?
topics. Would you like to say anything, Aralda?
For the top, for the.
What were the topics? Refresh our memory. What were the topics
So-
discussed?
Condominiums, workforce and AI, and, oh my gosh, there was a third,
But we got those two topics. Do me a favor then.
yeah.
I think, I know Dade County has a budget in September, but I think it's important, I think it gives us a little bit of time to do it from here to September. Isabel, let's
Yeah, yeah.
get September,
Okay.
because June's gonna be pretty cool, because there's a lot of important topics, so that condominiums is still important.
Right.
I mean, it's huge in our communities.
Yes.
AI, you know how you feel about AI in data centers. And even the transportation conversation that we had with, that we are being used as a test pilot, test area down here for these aerial transportation modes and these, autonomous vehicles, that's also part of a conversation that we can have, and if, what we could do, Isabel, maybe let's get the council members input, via email, and then we could come up
I
with
think
some.
The solid waste authority for Broward
That's another one that
will
would be great.
hopefully
I would
be
love
established by August. Assuming everybody votes for it. If it does, there's gonna be a lot of room for regional hospitalities.
That I've said that for such a long time. I wish we would take a regional approach on solid waste.
And there's gonna
Maybe
be,
it's-
and if it passes, there's some real opportunities.
No, there really is. That's the only way to, the future is that.
that. We could bring in, when we
It's the
had,
only way to do it. It saves us a lot of money.
Oh,
Okay.
and that helps Monroe also as well, because we're
Yeah.
always looking for something that touches all our counties.
the hard part on that is you don't know.
Get the Jewish holidays.
I won't.
It would be 2 days or 3
We
days.
already had to move our board meeting for one of those, yeah.
I'm a Judeo-Christian, so I celebrate those Jewish holidays too.
Right, solidarity.
Nice. So we have consensus, we'll do it in September.
I think so.
That works.
I see, Mayor Lincoln, Councilmember Lincoln has her hand up.
Mayor?
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. I'm still interested if we ever want to do something again on coral restoration, where we are with with the coral projects. I know that we've got some excellent speakers here in Monroe County who could share what we're doing here with all the coral fragmentations, planting corals, and what we're doing with our artificial reef even. So that might be a topic that I know Monroe's always interested in.
Not only Monroe, it's a topic that we all should be interested in. So that's not a bad idea. And the restoration projects and efforts and how to make our corals a little stronger, more resilient to the rising the heat. Global warming is not really happening, and so
We've done some excellent research, and the Moat Laboratories just found that the coral that they planted 2 years ago actually reproduced last summer in that heat. And so now they've come up with a resilient coral that I would just love to be able to share that information with everyone.
Rock corals.
We had that at our joint meeting.
We had a little bit. We had a brief conversation, but we could.
Yes, and I'm so happy you, through the chair, that you brought it up, Mayor Lincoln, because that was actually one of, we had an excellent conversation presentations from DEP and also from Joanna Walzak, who is now Vice President of Conservation at the Logger at Marine Center. So I think the bad side news was that the what we call it triple R, the funding, the 9.5 million that was from all these institutions, they're actually through the state that were receiving, their funding is not in the government, was not put in the governor's budget this year. It is no longer in. It never was in the House or in the Senate, because it was never in the governor's budget. And at this late hour, it seems an impossibility that funding can get in. So that's going to mean that a lot of organizations are going to have to go by on what they have, and hopefully they don't lose the progress they've made specifically on the whole issue of growing corals and things like that. Everybody seemed to think that this session was too long a lift, but to Mayor Lincoln's point, certainly, you're gonna have a new governor coming in. We'll have to be organized for next session. And it could be a conversation that we have on how to get organized for next session and make sure that's in the budget for next year and how we move forward. Now, I'm happy not to give up yet, but from all the senators I know who are familiar with the appropriations project,
It's not in the House, it's not in the Senate, it's not in the governor, it's not going to be in the budget.
Right. So I would just say also, please don't feel constrained to have these important conversations just to a regional conference or a 7-county conference. We can also have a longer board meeting focused on a topic. So we don't have to wait. All right. So that we could bring on the solid waste management and the corals. But yes, I would love to, it will be helpful to know what the topic you guys want to pursue, and ladies, in September, so that we can get the ground hard.
I think we just mentioned a couple of topics. If we could just
condominium,
start exploring some of those topics at a high level, and then we'll come back to the board and vote on them. So
perfect.
But I think those are good topics. I really do believe the coral issue is a big deal for all of us as well.
Absolutely.
And
solid waste.
yes, the regionalization. I think that.
Thank you. This has been an excellent guidance from you. I appreciate it.
All right, so next we will move on to a report from Sam.
Just a quick one, Mr. Chair. Senator, thank you very much. In the backup, there is our monthly memo with regard to pending litigation. There's only one litigation matter pending that affects collections. We're not in a collection mode for any other borrower that's involved with the RLF program. Without getting into detail in public, the reference in the memorandum references the Equity Partners 102 LLC. It's the Dawson case kind of revived. You'll note, however, that at this point, there's nothing to report because the judge in the case who has been reassigned to has recused himself. So the portal, the Circuit Court civil portal in Broward County appears to work, because what happened was it's now come back to the same judge twice. And the end result is that there is no judge assigned. There will be a judge assigned. The SFRPC did what it was supposed to do. That's all I need to say publicly, satisfying its loan. The borrower is current, still in litigation with the council on other matters that are allied allegedly to that. It's enough said in public. The report's the only one we have for you today, and we'll brief you privately as needed, should the occasion arise. If questions, happy to answer them. This is the best I can do publicly, but at the end of the day, the case that's been seemingly going on for a long time is going on for a long time.
It's going on for a long time. Great update.
Yes, yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much. Isabel, we're good, right? That's official report.
Yes.
Let's go.
I'll
Is that
start.
Wade?
Dad, do you have any
Are you
update?
there with?
Yeah,
There he
the only update I have is Ms. Shireen Yifang, who was with District 6, has moved on to District 4. So we want to make sure that any correspondence or review should be going to Ken Jeffries, which will also be serving as my alternate. Thank you.
Well, that's good for her. She lives in Boca. So this report's better for her. Absolutely.
All right, good deal. Anything else? We're good
So again,
there.
just thank you again for the condolences. That's why I was out for the last couple of months, but thank you again.
Our prayers are with you. Sorry.
So our next up here, ask Serena and Davina.
Serena, are you there?
I am. Nothing for the group. Thank you.
Okay, and Armando?
Good afternoon. Hopefully my microphone's working now. But just wanted to do a quick follow-up on some of the water shortage warnings that went out from the South Florida Water Management District earlier in the year. Those have been discontinued in Monroe, Miami-Dade County, Glades, Highlands, and we never had to issue one for Broward. Just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you. So now it's.
Isabel is just talking right now, as now as council members talk about what's going on in their world. So, Isabel. Anything to come before the board itself?
Yeah, he's been doing a really, really good job as solid waste.
Hopefully it's done well. But it did pass this week. It's always the executive board and the governing board passed the master plan facilities amendment. Now it goes out to all the cities for passage.
Almost strictly because of his powers of persuasion.
I love it. Well, can you come to Dade County?
It's too big a lift.
The master of trash talk.
Yeah.
What's happening in your world?
No, Miami-Dade County, listen, we at the meeting last week, you heard some complaints of our trash being shipped elsewhere, and this is where I talk about some of my friends in Miami-Dade County government to talk a big game about the environment. Yet the environment's only important in Miami-Dade County, but when you're shipping your trash somewhere else, that means it's hypocrisy at its fullest. So I respect the comments that were made, and unfortunately, I want us to be more in line with you all, where you guys are. But I think we'll be getting a proposal back from. We were supposed to have one back this county commission meeting, which is tomorrow. Believe the following commission meeting, they will have something back to us, which they're gonna have both companies. Which I never agreed to do this as well, but they're gonna have all the companies coming together, two companies that bid and trying to do something collectively. Where we'll wait to see where the where is now, so. So that's where we are, and we'll wait, I'll report back to the council on that, the following meeting.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
One thing that Miami-Dade may want to look at is what we did with Broward is we did talk waste management into doing source, if we could do source separation up in Okeechobee, which would eliminate a lot of the methods. So if you can get it up there, so separated, they agreed to do all the composting up there. They're not doing it for anybody else right now, but you may want to see if they want to consent to that. They've got the land to do.
No, I'll talk to you offline. Well, we
Yeah,
can
good.
talk offline because we're on the same board, right?
Yeah,
But
good. So is there something written
Yeah.
that you can send
contract.
me I can send it, so we can send it
Or the
around
contract.
that explains what they agreed to do and who to talk to?
That was in exchange for, we agreed to expand the landfill, the height.
The monarch.
But under the provision, the no organics would go up to.
Makes sense. Be separated, okay. All right, thank you. I will thank you for sharing that information, it would also be amazing. Yeah.
constantly preoccupied with moving water off of dry land to keep it dry. Confluence between that and water quality in Biscayne Bay is a constant preoccupation. There are different things that contribute to maybe a worsening condition. Being aware of a problem and having solutions for a problem are not the same thing.
Right.
So we did have a presentation from Florida Power and Light. And the power lines that are going in really have no effect whatsoever on Southwest Ranches. It's on the other side of the levee, so they're just gonna pretty much follow what they have there. I am a little surprised that it's coming from Andy Town. Like I said, there's really nothing there. I don't know if there's any in the room old enough to remember that Andy Town and Terrytown was just a few miles north. And at Terrytown, they had the big pumping station that's out there, which is obsolete now. But there were two very small communities that were out that way. And they're not there anymore. They're gone. And we will be voting on this Thursday night on the solid waste.
Oh, great.
We will be voting on that.
And you don't think is there any reason for anybody else to be there, or do you think it's already good?
I don't think we'll have any problems whatsoever.
That's great. That's great.
Right.
So you can start the momentum going.
Right.
Good.
Right.
Thank you.
Member Katz? Eights, I'm sorry. Sorry, right.
Or Lincoln.
Or Lincoln, Mayor Lincoln, the update, I think we got your update on the coral.
Right. I think we're good here. We're just anticipating what the state is going to do with their budget, for us to decide what we're doing with our budgets as we all are entering into our own county's budget season, and we have these big question marks in front of us, but we'll muddle through, won't we?
Can I ask you a question? What are the projections in your county? Are you guys seeing flying revenues, or what are you seeing in your county right now? Preliminary.
Yes, we just did a very intense county commission meeting last week where we're going to dissolve our human service advisory board, where we used to donate millions of dollars that would go to our not-for-profits. And in looking at what the CFO Blaise Ingoglia came out with on what he says we should fund and not fund, and where we should start funneling those funds, we decided to amp up our Department of Health budget and our internal county's social services department, and letting those millions of dollars go into those two agencies. And hopefully then they can subcontract with some of the not-for-profits. But that's kind of how we're gearing up. We're also gearing up if we did lose our ad valorem property taxes. What would that look like for us? It doesn't sound like much to y'all, but it would be 35 million to us, and that's significant for a community as small as ours. So, we're really looking at this year's budget almost twofold of what we would do just keeping a flat millage rate, and what we would do if we had to do a 10% cut or a 100% cut in our ad valorems.
And again, how's the budget in Broward looking?
I think we are going up a little, but it doesn't matter because the state's gonna take away whatever we have, and I still don't. They're still gonna try and get something on the ballot to take away our property tax, and without replacing it, and voters want to eliminate property tax and keep their services.
It's not
through the services, Barry.
Not declining.
I'll tell you, in Dade County, we're starting to see our budget is looking like there's going to be some shortfalls. We're having some budget talks right now. I just don't necessarily know the actual number. We're trying to get that number right now, but we got through it last year, and we too are having a conversation on what happens with the non-for-profits, the amount of money that goes out to non-for-profits. That was contention, and that's why I was happy to hear what Lincoln is doing in the Keys, because that could be a way that we can continue to help some of our organizations that do provide services that the county otherwise should be providing, and it's not. So, but all right, that's good.
When you asked on our budget, I know that Dade County's having a problem because you now have the new sheriff, elected sheriff. Our sheriff filed an appeal, even though we cut everybody else and increased his budget, and he filed an appeal to the state. So we're 99% incorporated, and he's still half of our budget. So we have commissioned a report. We're looking, if he's going to play like this, we are looking right now at taking the airport away, the seaport away, and fire department away from him. And, recreating them inside, we would have a new division of public safety. Because I personally don't think he's doing a bad job, but we cannot continue to give an ever increasing, not in raw numbers, although he's getting that, but as a percentage of our general budget, we cannot go up every year to the sheriff, which is diminishing everything else. Because while I think that the most important duty of government is to protect its citizens, it's not our only job as county commissioners, and he seems to think it is.
There's no doubt that public safety is where, it's paramount to the well-being of our community. We get that, but I don't disagree with you. I mean, the growth should be commensurate to what the growth in the county is, and vice versa, or to any of our municipalities. So I don't disagree with you. I'm not gonna help, but that idea of when we were having the dialogue and conversation of the sheriff in Miami-Dade County, one of the things that I wanted to do was, but unfortunately the legislature didn't allow us to do it at that point, was to have our own force, the seaport, airport, and other of our buildings, because that could help with some of the dollars as well on our side, and we protect our own assets. So you should continue exploring them.
So we have a study out. I'll make sure you get a copy of that.
That's a great idea, by the way. Love it. All right. And we have Councilman Goldberg and Coffin. Let's go, Councilman Goldberg.
Any updates?
Okay, and then how about Councilman Kaufman? Kaufman up there?
He's up there, but I think we're good.
All right, we're good. All right, so Isabel, take us where do we go from here? We're done.
I think, so just please look at the dates. We'll send an updated calendar. And Chair, I think with that, you might just ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, so we're adjourned. Good meeting. Thank
Mayor
you.
Lincoln, I'm looking forward to the back conference. It looks like a great agenda.
I think so too. I look forward to seeing everyone there. And I just had one comment for Randy on that, the larger number of graying.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much. Looking forward to the data center, all the management conversations.
I am too.
Yes. I hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much.